Hi, my name is Julie, and I'm 26, and I have had an eating disorder since I was 11. So that's a very long time, and I've been in treatment for the last couple of years. I first of all I want to say I've only seen a handful of your videos, which I found very interesting. And I have looked over your body image activist blog as well. The reason I'm making this video is to offer some constructive criticism about two of your videos. This one and also, sorry, I made notes. The video about parents who say that their child is a burden because they have an eating disorder. But first, what I want to know is who are you? And I'm sure that all that information, all kinds of information, is available about you throughout your videos and on your website. And maybe I just didn't look hard enough, but I didn't see an about me section. And I'm curious as to what your credentials, if any, are. Besides being an activist, and if you've worked in eating disorder units and what you've done, and I'm just curious as to your background and your history with the issue. And I watched a video where you briefly discussed having had an eating disorder, which I kind of assumed was the case, but it wasn't really touched on. And I think for your blog, there should definitely be a section about you because otherwise, it's kind of odd to offer all this advice but like have no specific section that says like I've done this, I've done that, or I've been through this or I've been through that. But it's your page. And I'm just saying that's what I would do. Okay, so the parents say their child is a burden because they have an eating disorder video. Both of these videos have potential, and I see what you're trying to do with them, but they're a lot of fluff because basically what I saw you doing the whole time was just it was a pep talk, and it was just like you can do this and blah blah blah, and it's fantastic, but um, what I think you should have been addressing instead of how wrong it was for parents not to care um, is maybe coping mechanisms for this and a lot of things. Like, well, first of all, you say, well, that's your parents. If they react like that, that's their issue, and that's true. That is their issue, but that doesn't make it any easier for the 13-year-old that's hearing her parents tell her that she's a burden. Um, it's their job as a parent. Well, I mean, newsflash, like most parents aren't. I don't say most. I'm sorry, I take that back. A lot of parents uh, don't live up to their potential as a parent, and they don't care to do their job as a parent, and that's very common. And like, I don't, you know, stating that that's their job is the obvious, and then what? And if they don't do it, then what? And you can go to someone outside your parents, and well, some kids and even some adults like legitimately don't have anyone. So then he said, we'll look around on the internet or come, look at my sites and whatever. Um, and that's kind of that bothered me because what I saw on your body image activist blog was like links to pro Anna sites and all sorts of things that are just totally inappropriate because you don't believe in censoring your website to avoid triggers. Um, which, I mean, you can justify your reasons for that until you're blue in the face all day long. But at the end of the day, uh, any decent professional would tell you that it's absolutely appalling to have that on your body image activist website. Um, and you know what? There are triggers everywhere, and I do agree with you about that. And I have a lot of the same beliefs. Like, okay, what are you gonna do when you drive by a billboard? But there are websites like yours with body image activist things. They should be safe places for people, and you shouldn't have to go to those pages and be bombarded with images that make you feel like shit about yourself. And that's basically what it is. Um, So it's a very mixed message to like vulnerable like young girls that you're sending. It's just it bothered me. It really really bothered me a lot that was on there. And your this video, um, I you're oversimplifying a really complicated issue. You mentioned like reaching out and blah blah blah, and that's of course great. I mean that's the obvious. That's what you should do. Um, but you don't really offer suggestions. You just kind of, like I said, it's like fluff. Like, uh, sometimes people don't get it and blah, blah, blah. Well, then maybe you should suggest some books and websites to, give to someone who doesn't get it. And, like go to, like something fishy or go to Anita's website or, if they react in this way, they can read this book and it explains things really clearly. But it was just basically like, oh, well, some people might not get it and that's a okay, so that had a little more potential that went wasted um, there. Um, and the last thing is you briefly brushed over the fact that that the older girls who may not have insurance can find a therapist um, because they offer discounted rates. Now, I would like to say, having gone through eating disorder treatment with no insurance and working as a waitress for tips only and making $3 an hour, I know quite a bit about um, finding treatment without insurance. And just that's it, it's done. Okay, well, they offer discounted rates is like, you could have made like 5 videos alone based uh, on how to find treatment without insurance. So, and there's a lot more than a therapist. You didn't even mention a nutritionist. You didn't mention a general practitioner that specializes in eating disorders. You didn't mention a lot of things, and those are really important details when you're recovering. And instead of sitting here and talking about like how you can do it and blah blah blah, why don't you find like ways to get things done? Like, so okay, I was gonna say I appreciate your videos, and I look forward to to responding to a lot more of them because I feel I'm very well versed on the issue, and yeah, I see where you're going with all this, but yeah, I just want to give you something to think about for your blog and for your YouTube, and I hope you appreciate it. And I can guarantee you'll be seeing a lot more of me. So bye.